It might just be the worst kept secret in football management game history, but in and out of possession formations are coming to FM26, and now we have the details. Right off the bat, we choose a tactical style. We choose an in-possession formation and then an out-of-possession formation. The suggested out-of-possession formations will be based on the initial in-possession formation chosen. Makes sense. Interestingly, the blog says that the in-possession formation is your base for building up, which to me implies that we'll be able to then transform into different attacking shapes from it. Think about Sepp Hernes, for example, and how Stuttgart have been known to build up initially in a 4-2-4 to bait the press, but once established in the opposition half, they shift into a 3-2-5 or 3-1-6. It sounds like this will be possible in FM26. Your in-possession formation will be a 4-2-4, but maybe you'll use rolls to change that shape come the final third. This sounds incredible, a real opportunity to experiment and explore different tactical ideas. It's got the football hipster in me salivating. And it looks like we might have similar functionality out of possession. The base formation is your settled defensive block, and rolls might be possible to use for setting your initial press. As excited as I am, I do have some concerns that this might be rather complicated for some, and hopefully SI can balance ease of use with depth of detail. It's not going to be easy though. The introduction of the visualizer to give you an idea of where your players will be, depending on where the ball is, might go some way to addressing this, and I love the idea. Now we do need to do a little bit of diligence, a trip down memory lane. As mentioned in previous videos, Championship Manager had a similar function 25 years ago, Wibwob. The difference here is that with Wibwob you would manually place players where you want them to be in each phase. Whilst it appears for FM26, it is just a visual representation of the formations and roles set. Personally, I prefer the latter. Whilst Wibwob gave a greater sense of control, it was very tedious. And without a visual layer to the matchday, it was just text, there was no way of really knowing what impact it truly had. Whilst there might not be as much control, the blog confirms that you'll have the freedom to place players wherever you like. If you want a player on one flank in possession, but out of possession on the other, you can. This has the potential to throw up some crazy ideas, and it'll be interesting to see how the match engine copes. Team instructions have also changed. Well, it appears they've not changed much, just the UI is different. Alongside the visualizer, it is providing contextual instructions, which is a nice touch, and I quite like how the summary is provided on the right, alongside the data hub. Now, it would be very uncouth of me to take credit for bringing the next opposition report and analyst data into the tactics screen, but fuck it, I'm clearly ahead of my time. Whilst I like this idea, my initial reaction is that I'm most likely to click on that all instructions button more often than not. Yes, it's good to break things down by phase, but sometimes you want to look at things holistically. It does also seem that the out of possession instructions are fewer, and that might make things feel a little bare. Next up, they talk about player roles, but SI appear to be feeling a little coquettish. We have some new roles, we've lost some familiar ones, and apparently the functionality of the inside forward has changed. There was talk about the removal of duties and how roles will come with fewer hard-coded instructions to allow more freedom in shaping them how we like. Now the Lord he giveth, and the Lord he taketh away. The football hipster in me, once excited by the tactical changes, is now mourning the loss of the more exotic roles. No more trequartista. Begrudgingly, I accept this is probably a good move, roles that actually explain what they do. Finally, some info about player intelligence. This was mentioned briefly last week, explaining how players assess passing risk has changed. There's a little more here, and I would summarise it as added cheekiness. Dinked passes over outstretched legs, stop-start dribbling and so on, as well as improvement to defensive challenges, in particular a willingness to stretch or lunge for the ball. This isn't something particularly useful in a blog, it really needs to be shown, but it does sound encouraging. The most encouraging, however, is an alleged improvement to defending near post corners, about damn time, and a pass to feet instruction, which I would assume is the antithesis of pass into space, something to help make use of your big boys up front. Look, I love this. Everything in the blog suggests a massive overhaul to tactics and something I'm really looking forward to. Moreover, the accompanying video is great. It covers the same ground, but it's so nice to hear from those involved at SI and see their passion. It would be remiss of me not to shout out Jack here too. You might know him as the Cult of FM, but if you don't, you should absolutely check out his channel and fantastic Moneyball related content. And once again, that brings us to the conclusion of the video. What we've heard so far sounds incredible. My excitement is growing and we're just a month away from release. But I'm nothing if not consistent. Until we play the game, this could all just be snake oil. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like or maybe even subscribing. And if you want to support the channel further, you can join these wonderful folk currently adorning your screen, either as a YouTube member or as a patron. See you next time.